lost a whole friend over yoga, y'all. Like, she asked me one day, hey, you want to go to yoga with me? And I was like, no, thank you. And she's like, why? And I was like, because I don't practice yoga. And she's like, why not? And I said, because it derives from another God. And she's like, oh my God, it isn't that deep. It's just exercise and stretching. I don't do it to worship another God. I said, well, you do realize that there are over 250 positions in yoga, and
some of the names, like, come on.
They are calling down spirits when you're in there. The names of these positions, they honor different spirits. Hinduism has 37,000 gods.
Wow.
37,000 gods. But the Bible says there's only one. Many will come in my name. I serve a very jealous God, so no, I'm not doing yoga.
So I find this common Christian misconception to be hilarious. And hilarious in so much so that Christians will take something based on the information and knowledge that they have today, without doing any research, without doing any fact finding, and then make a decision based on their holier than thou mentality in order to lose friends, in order to not participate in something or not do something, to restrict themselves of what would probably be beneficial to this young lady. Let me tell you a story. So back in the day when I was a deacon at this Baptist church, the only time they would allow a woman to preach at that time frame was on Women's Day, and she could not preach from the pulpit. She had to preach in front of the altar. And we had one young lady. I remember watching her grow up in the church. She was a few years younger than me. Now she's about 20, 21. She's preaching. She calls herself a pastor. She's been called. Well, during her whole soliloquy, she starts talking about how you women out here practicing yoga is evil, is calling on different gods. Same thing that this young lady is saying. Because I was a practicing Baptist, I did as a practicing Baptist does. I waited till after the service, pulled her in the back. I let her know that I asked her, where did you get the information that yoga is practicing some other form of spirituality and calling down demons, as this young lady said? She said she was just told it. That's what she understands. And she looked at the names of the positions, and the name of the positions, she saw that they were names based on different gods of the Hindu religion. And I said, okay, so did you go deeper? She was like, no, that was enough for her. I said, well, see, that's the problem. You didn't go deeper. If you had went deeper in studying and understanding yoga, then one of the things that you would have realized is that the practice of yoga goes beyond Hinduism. It's older than Hinduism. The fact that of the matter is, the first mentioning of yoga is in one of the Vedas, in the Riga Veda. But the word of mouth, the oral tradition of yoga is older than Hinduism. It was not birthed as a spiritual practice. It was birthed as a philosophical practice. It would be like saying that a person who goes to a psychiatrist or a psychologist and they're suffering from dementia or suffering from depression. Suffering from depression or PTSD. That person who wants to go and unite the mind and the body in order to not be depressed anymore or not suffer from PTSD, that person is practicing a form of yoga. It will be like saying that that person who went to the psychologist is worshiping a god, but you're not. Can you go and then here's the thing. Can you go to a psychologist who utilizes religion to unite the mind and the body? Yes. Can you go to a psychologist who does not use religion to unite the mind and the body? Yes. And that is actually the idea of yoga. It is a practice of stretching and exercising and discipline to unite the mind and the body. That is a philosophy beyond religion, that was before religion. It was just adopted into the Hindu religion. This is why you can go and participate in yogic practices that has nothing to do with Hinduism. Hell, there's a young lady in Atlanta, well, a couple actually, a young lady and a young man in Atlanta. They do Egyptian yoga. So they take the poses that the hieroglyphics have, and they get in those poses. Are they worshiping Ra? Are they worshiping Isis? No. Some of the poses are not even of the Egyptian gods. They're poses that you can see of Nefertiti, poses of Akhenaten, poses of Ramesses. So these are just the pharaohs who were depicted in certain poses that they utilized for yoga, for a type of yoga, Kemetic yoga. So to say that it is a religion just shows the arrogance and the supremacy, the mental supremacy that religion and Christianity can have. The fact that you're willing to lose a friend over this situation also shows the lack of friendship that you truly had. You see, if me and a friend had an issue, so for instance, me and my friend Brandon is Christian. Brandon is my brother. If Brandon and I were to have a problem with a situation, we are going to dive deep into that situation. We're going to excavate. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty, come to whatever the real truth of a situation is, and then determine how our friendship functions thereafter. See, the friend was probably tired of the holier than thou mentality that this woman was probably displaying to her, that she is above reproach, and that she can only do things that she has determined to be in line with the will of God and what the Bible says, and that more than likely looks down on people with a critical eye when it comes to things of that nature. So you didn't lose the friend because of yoga. She lost a friend because of your religious supremacy mentality. That's why you lost your friend. And many people have lost good people in their lives simply because they are unwilling and unbending. And not that you have to bend and do the things that they do. You could have just said, no, I don't do yoga. It's not part. I feel that I'm worshiping these other gods, but I'm not going to fault you for it. There are other things that we can do as friends. And the reason we are friends is because we do other things. So she could have maintained the friendship regardless of the yoga, but she chose to be an adversary, a satan at that moment towards her friendship. And that's why the friendship ended. So for a lot of you Christians out there who are trying to reach heaven through your love of Jesus and your exemplifications of Jesus, try being an actual friend instead of being a judge. It may benefit you and demonstrate maybe that you're walking in a way that people want to be like you. It's highly unlikely that people want to be like you, but it may make you look better. Your PR will be a lot better if you were to uh, not be so damn judgmental. But what do you guys think? And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.